Do you want to go? Yes.
Okay.
This is the angle.
Okay.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Grant Schreiber from Real Leaders magazine, and today I'm speaking to Chris Giori, the CEO and founder of Leaders on Purpose, a think tank which examines the role of the new role of CEOs in the world in terms of sustainable development. She's in partnership with the London School of Business. She's also based at Harvard and also has an affiliation with the World Bank. And I'm keen to explore her thoughts on the new role of the CEO. Welcome.
Well, thank you for having me. It's
Thank
nice
you.
to be here.
I wanted to kick off and ask you how you decided to form Leaders on Purpose and why your insights into the new role of leadership in the world is important.
So Leaders on Purpose, as you mentioned, is a collaborative of experts and academics from London School of Economics, Harvard, and the World Bank, and we came together. We identified that there are leaders that are leading in a new way. So in 2015, the Harvard Business Review came out with the top 100 CEOs, and they actually changed the metrics. So prior to 2015, the metrics for the top CEO had always been just financial metrics. In 2015, they added a weighting for environmental, social, and governance metrics, and that list really shifted dramatically. So we were together at a meeting talking about something completely different, and we said, we want to talk to these leaders. We want to understand what does it mean to be leading in this new way. And so that was really the genesis of it. It's evolved since then. So as you know, we've this last year completed a study where we spent time with 16 of the most inspiring leaders.
And you've spoken to some of the top CEOs in the world as part of your study. What are some of the themes that have come to the surface?
Yeah, so really identifying that there is a new sort of type of leader that's out there. There are many things there's so many things that come to mind. It was a remarkable experience, but really a couple of the things is looking at how the organizational design has changed to embrace this new type of leadership, a grounding in the global goals, and that's what's exciting about being here at the UN, at UNGA, and talking to people about how they're grounding their business goals into something higher. And these CEOs are working in that way. They take a look at where their company's core competency is, and they look at where they can make the biggest impact, and then they bring that into the core of their strategy. That's some of.
What kind of strategies are you seeing that are actually delivering results in a positive way?
Yeah, well, so this purpose-led leadership, last year Sustainable Brands did a study of purpose-led companies, and what they found was that that they're outperforming in every benchmark their competitors by 10 times, and versus the S&P 500 by 10 times. So they outperform from a financial perspective, they outperform in terms of employee engagement and employee retention. There's more trust in the institution. Employees feel more optimistic about the future. They have more long-term, shareholder returns, so multiple values.
And I guess one of the things is a long-term vision. We were talking earlier.
Yeah, of course.
We were talking about China having a 100-year vision in terms of their global expansion.
Right.
A lot of people think that CEOs today should have a 50, 100-year plan, even though they might not be around at that point. So what kind of forward-looking trends are you seeing in terms of leadership?
Yeah, I think that's really is something that came up in every single interview. The sort of this grappling between what the capital market is expecting, this sort of more short-term vision, and having the long-term vision. And I think these CEOs that are leading at the forefront get that they need to be thinking about their company in the long term. And so they're taking, they're doing lots of different innovation in terms of, the structure, the organizational structure. The way they lead is quite different. So we sort of look at the difference between the hierarchy, traditional hierarchy, and a more networked organization. And they're kind of, instead of being at the top of the hierarchy, they're really communicating as more coaching style. So leading from the middle is what we call it. So yeah, it's
Leadership
really
style has
interesting.
changed quite dramatically too. I mean, you're getting CEOs who are barely out of their teens these days. It's not an old person's game anymore. You don't even need to go to business school anymore. What are you seeing on the younger side of the CEO? Are there
Yeah, that's
millennials out there that are
interesting.
doing interesting things?
Yeah, that's really interesting. I think the CEOs that we spoke with were more, the criteria to be in our study was that the CEOs needed to, that the organizations needed to be in over 31 countries. They had to have, be in the top percentile for their financial metrics and, a number of different other criteria in addition to having to be in the top 50 percentile for environmental, social, and governance metrics. So those CEOs tended to have been in office for quite some time. So we didn't actually at that point speak with some of the millennial CEOs, but yeah, I think that.
And if you have to look at the global role of CEOs, what countries are emerging as leaders?
Yeah, it is really interesting country by country how it's, I think the Nordics, we're certainly seeing a lot of amazing work coming out of, some of the Dutch countries. There's, really globally, there's some great, just coming from this session on, some of the amazing innovation that's coming out of Africa. I think it's all, it's coming from different levels, but
Right.
different types of organizations.
Right.
But yeah.
And let's speak about you for a moment. Where did you first get an idea to examine CEOs and leadership as a profession?
Yeah.
Was there something that sparked it?
Yeah, I guess so. I think my background is Unilever, 15 years at Unilever. So I was there when Paul Polman came into office, and I really, with his vision, and I think that was quite inspiring to be part of that and to feel how the whole company from the inside really lifted up and sort of how that really inspired a lot of great work. Still, always there's work to be done, and just being part of that journey certainly was inspiring.
Fantastic. And what's next?
Yeah, so we've started our second study. Thanks for asking.
Right.
Yeah, really exciting. So we've started working on the second CEO study. We'll launch that at the pre-IMF World Bank Spring Meeting CEO event that we're doing next April. We want to bring this into action, so we're excited to be working in an advisory capacity. We've got a new partnership with Horvath and Partners that will support us in that. They're experts in strategy, and so we're excited about that. So yeah, research, convening, and advisory, that's where we're hoping to really move the needle.
Fantastic.
So,
of all the CEOs you've spoken to in the world, who has inspired you the most and why?
Wow, that's so hard to say. I've had the opportunity to speak with so many inspiring leaders. I have to say, I couldn't name one, but
is there a particular leader that has inspired you that you haven't spoken to? Somebody to look up to as an example?
Yeah. Well, one of the CEOs that we spoke with, Lorna Donaton, she's the CEO of Sodexo in the U.S., and she's become really kind of a mentor in the way she handles things, and she's been quite inspiring. Her communication style, how she communicates to her people, I think is really inspiring. Typically, I guess when you go into when these CEOs go into a meeting, an average CEO will talk about the financial metrics for 90% to 99% of the time. She makes a very concerted effort to bring purpose into the conversation for a much higher percentage of the time, and that's inspiring.
Right. Do people's personality count for leadership as well? A lot of people think that structure, procedure, and protocol is part of leadership, which of course it is to a certain degree.
Yeah.
But how much of people's personalities and characteristics are important when it comes to leadership?
Yeah, I think it's both, actually. I think we can't wait for people to be inspired leaders. We do need to build the structures, and we need to build a system so that this is just the way leadership happens, so that we can't. So it's wonderful to have an inspiring leader that's, a transformational type leader. But I think that what we're hoping to do is to support more broadly, so that we put the systems in place, we have it built into strategy, we tie it to the larger global goals, the work that's being done in the business community, and so that we don't have to count so much on that. I do think that's an important component. But
Great. Chris, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Okay, thank you.